Now, over the last few weeks on social media, I keep seeing a lot of hate, anger, confusion in the gas industry. And it's all over one tiny little document. And that is the IGEM UP 1B Edition 4. So why are gas engineers getting all angry, worked up and frustrated over this little document? Well, basically, IGEM have changed how we carry out our tightness test and purging. Now, the tightness test procedure hasn't really changed. It's our permissible drops which has changed, and our permissible drops now will go off the installation volume of the job, not the size of the meter and the size of the pipe. So that's making it come into line with LPG and commercial types of testing. Now, the biggest comments I see on social media are all about working out the installation volume when you can't see the pipework. It's basically become an educated guess on the actual route of the pipework to be able to work out the installation volume. Now, just something to bear in mind and think about, and hopefully this will ease a little bit of the pain, is when you are carrying out a tightness test and you get less than perceptible drop. So for a U gauge it's 0.25 millibars, for a digital manometer to 2 decimal places it's 0.25 millibars, and to 1 decimal place it's 0.2, then you haven't got a leak. Then, next thing is, if you get a drop up to 1 millibar, you technically don't need to work out the installation volume because you're allowed up to a 1 millibar drop up to 0.35 meters cubed. So you would only technically need to work out the installation volume for purging. Anyway, I've done a few videos on this and I will leave a link in the description below, and you can watch these videos after you've watched this one. So let's get on with it and hopefully put the minds of gas engineers at ease and show them exactly when we need to carry out a tightness test, when we need to work out our permissible drops, and when we need to work out our installation volume. So, when does the regulations actually say we require to do a tightness test? After we've had some new installations. So we need to carry out a tightness test before and after. Will we need to work out the installation volume in this task? Yes, you will, because on a new installation, when we're installing, we're going to allow air into the system. So we'll need to purge. So we will need to work out the installation volume as well. What about repairs or alterations? So you could be repairing a leak, or you could just be altering a pipe to feed something like a cooker or a hob. Well, if you've allowed air into the system, which you will do when you're making alterations or repairs, you will need to carry out a tightness test before and after. And you will need to work out the installation volume because you'll need to purge. What about a suspected leak, a smell of gas? Well, it's the same as repairs or alterations. You'll need to do a tightness test before and a tightness test after completing your repair and stop the smell of gas. Commissioning. So when the gas supply has been disconnected for a period of time, you will need to carry out a tightness test and purge to get everything up and running. So you'll need to work out the installation volume. And finally, a bit controversial, the annual gas safety check. Now, according to Regulation 26.9 of the Gas Safety Installation and Use Regulations, it doesn't say we need to carry out a tightness test on a landlord's report. But GasSafe say we should do, and the landlord has to have their gas integrity checked every 12 months. So when you're doing a landlord's report, you will need to carry out a tightness test. But if you don't allow any air into the system, you will not need to purge, so you will not be required to work out the installation volume. So that is when we actually have to carry out a tightness test and work out the installation volume when we need to purge. Now, to help you actually complete these tasks of working out your installation volume, working out your permissible drops, and working out your purge volume, my daughter and granddaughter have made you, first of all, this lovely chart you can use, but even better, they have produced an app on our website which you can use for free. So make sure you go over to our website and download all this information onto your screen, home screen, and you can access all this very quickly when you're on a job. There is also loads of apps out there which can help you do pipe sizing, because sometimes you may need to do a little bit of pipe sizing. Anyway, what we're going to do now is we're going to go over to a customer's house and we're going to look at how we would work out the actual installation volume, purge volume and permissible drops when we have no clue where the gas pipe goes. So I've spoken to the customer at this property. They kind of remember where the gas main goes because it's completely hidden. So I can't see any of it except a little bit which goes to the fire. So I've done my calculated guesswork. So first of all, the gas meter is in a little cupboard down here. And then the customer says the pipework goes through the wall, and then they had the garage converted into a bedroom. And they said the gas pipe comes through here, up this false wall to about here, and then straight across over the doorway and through here into the bathroom. And then if we look where the hob is in the kitchen, so they say the gas pipe then on the landing, which is, this is a stairwell, so the landing, it runs across here into the living room, then comes across a bit and then down to feed this hob. And then this is the only pipe we can see in the living room, which runs down at the back there to feed the fire. It then comes through here, comes across, then across this way, and then down to feed the boiler. So that is the route the customer pretty much says the gas pipe goes. So if the customer says they have got no clue where the gas pipe goes, then you've got to do like a visual, which way would I do it kind of task. Because the bands are so big in what they allow for permissible drops and the purging, you should fall within a good engineered judgment guess, being there or thereabouts in the ballpark. So the next thing I've done is I've done a drawing. Sorry about the crudity of the drawing, but it's the best I could come up with. And I've done like a pipe sizing, what I think the pipe should be according to the pipe sizing charts. So this first pipe here should, A to B, to feed all these appliances, should be 28 millimeters. And then 15 to feed the fire, 15 to feed the hob, and then 22 to feed the boiler. So what we're going to do is we'll do it as I think it should be. So it should be 28 using our calculator, and let's see what happens. We've also got the sheet if you don't want to use the calculator, which is free. If you're doing an exam or anything like that on this, then you can use the chart, but the calculator does it all for you on our website. So let's put the information into the calculator and see what we come up with. So this is the the drawing I have created. Now, do we need to go to these extremes of drawings? Well, if you want to work it out properly, and this has literally took me less than 5 minutes to create. So there's our meters coming through the wall, and then this is the best guess of where I can find it, and working out what the actual sizes are and what the kilowatts come to. Now, the total is 47 kilowatts. Now, will this pipe at 22 millimeters to this T be able to cope with 47 kilowatts? Well, actually, if you look at the chart, no. So if I did it in 22 mil, it's way over a 1 millibar drop. But if I did it in 28, you can see it's just over half a millibar drop. So some of you may have seen this pipe here is 22 millimeters, and I have no clue what this has been done in. Not a clue whatsoever. So my sizes are based on these sizes, but if it was 22 all along, which wouldn't be big enough, then this would be my maximum length for the 22 with those two added together. So I am basing this on being worst case scenario and installed correctly with the correct pipe sizing. So that's the first thing. Yes, some of you will have seen it's 22 millimeters here, but after seeing the chart, you can see 22 millimeters would not be big enough. Now, gone to our website and brought up the IGEM UP1B calculator. So we're in the copper section and we're on 15 mil, so we need 9.2. Then we go to our 22 millimeters and we need 6.6. And we go to our 28 millimeters and we need 8.3. So then we scroll down. The gas meter is the correct one, so it's a G4 gas meter. We're on natural gas. We press calculate. It now gives us all the information we require. So the pipe volume 0.00788 meters cubed, and we've got 0.00867 when they've added the fittings. The meter is 0.008. We've got a total installation volume of 0.01667. So we're not in commercial, we're allowed a 1 millibar drop. And when we come to purge, we're looking at 0.02501 meters cubed. So that is our worst case scenario when we need to carry out a tightness test and when we need to purge after we have a successful tightness test. So from our results, you can see that our installation volume is less than 0.035 meters cubed. So as a domestic engineer, we can work on it. Also, our installation volume is less than 0.02 meters cubed. So we technically don't have to ignite it at a burner. We could allow that to escape into the air. But when we times it by 1.5, it does go over the 0.02 meters cubed. So to be safe, you can burn it off at a hob or a open burner. You obviously couldn't do that at the nut on a boiler, could you? Anyway, let's now have a look and see what it would be if all that pipe work is 22 millimeters and not the 28 mil it should be. Now, if we were just using the 22 mil pipe and not the 28, we would go on to the 15, and again we would have 9.2, and our 22 millimeters would be 14.9. Same meter, come to the calculation, press calculate, and we've now, if we had 22 millimeters, you can see we have a 2.5 millibar drop now, not a 1 millibar drop. So that is the difference when you use the correct pipe to what you actually think is going to be there. So I would always use the worst case scenario of the 1 millibar drop. Now I can actually see some of you now shouting at your telly or your phone going, yeah, but it's all guesswork. What can you do? What can you do when you do not know where the stuff goes? Now, some of you will also be saying, why have you picked 28mm? Well, we know 28mm should be the right size, and there is a test you can actually do, can't you, to prove whether it's sized correctly by doing your working pressure at your meter and the working pressure at your appliance, and then you would know whether it was sized correctly or not, wouldn't you? So you wouldn't be guessing there whether they put 28 or whether it's all 22, because if you were getting a working pressure of about 18 millibars and a working pressure at 21 at the meter, then you do know it's done in 22. Anyway, so hopefully that shows you how easy it is to do this using our calculator, which is free, by the way, don't forget that, on our website. You just need to go onto our website. I've done loads of videos on how to get on there. Probably the hardest part of this is learning the pipe sizing, but there's loads of apps out there to do with the pipe sizing. So hopefully you've liked the video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.